Hello, honorable professors. Now I will make a presentation on the study on English writing ability of Chinese students based on the theory of distributed cognition. My presentation includes these parts. For abstract, according to the theory of distributed cognition, cognition is distributed in individuals, among individuals, in media, and environment. Researchers designed the project of online English writing and learning, analyzed the writing process of the non-English major freshmen in China, and made a research on the practice of learning generating model of mobile English writing. It is found that the distributed cognition in media, individuals, and community takes an important role in English writing, and it can reduce the learner's cognitive load and improve their writing proficiency. The keywords are distributed cognition, learning generating model, mobile learning, and English writing. For introduction, mobile learning enables users to learn whenever and wherever they want with mobile terminal devices, which are able to present learning contents effectively and provide a two-way communication space between teachers and students. Some computer-assisted learning applications, a Chinese online service system for intelligent English composition correction, stores a massive standard corpus. It can give instant feedback on scores, evaluations, and corrections of learners' English compositions by comparing and analyzing students' compositions with its standard corpus, and is increasingly used in the teaching of writing. The distributed cognitive functions of the online writing system help learners practice writing. For literature review, American psychologist M.C. Vitrick, the advocate of generative learning in the 1970s, believed that individuals construct and generate cognition through a variety of interactions, and emphasized the influence of the interaction between individuals and the external environment on their cognition. Generative learning emphasizes not only the interactions between knowledge and interactions between knowledge and experience, but also the knowledge and influence of the perceptual environment in the learning process. Edwin Hutchins, professors in the University of California, proposed the theory of distributed cognition in late 1980s. It shows that cognition is distributed within individuals, between individuals, and across media, environments, cultures, societies, and time. Cognition is not limited to individual cognitive activities, but also exists in the social activities, cultures, and media that are connected to the learners. Learners can learn from the cognitive resources in the external environment to update his or her cognition in the process of completing cognitive activities. Based on distributed cognition, the researchers designed the English writing on mobile terminal. The learning process of English writing gives full play to cognitive roles distributed between media, individuals, and social communities, and improves the learner's writing skills while reducing their cognitive load. In this research, 7 non-English major freshmen from a Chinese university were selected to study their English writing learning practices. This paper takes the writing task, environmental protection, as an example. The teacher assigns the writing task on it. Learners complete the writing task through the mobile terminal. During the writing process, learners completed 3 drafts in total. In the first draft, The learners not only rely on their personal knowledge and use their acquired knowledge of language and knowledge related to writing. In the second draft writing, learners use media assistance, including online resources, dictionaries, to modify their compositions with the help of cognitive resources distributed throughout the media. After the completion of the second draft, learners are assisted by automatic online feedback, peer feedback, and teacher feedback. That is, using cognitive modifications distributed in the media and the social community to complete the third draft. During this period, researchers conduct interviews with learners on their feelings during the writing process. This research collected the feedback words online, including peer feedback and teacher feedback, and collected the writing text to make electronic portfolios of students' writing. The study adopted both quantitative and qualitative methods of analysis. Firstly, we analyzed the impact of distributed cognition on students' English writing by comparing their three different writing samples. Secondly, interviews were conducted with students to know their feelings on the use of distributed cognitive assistance in the writing process. In first draft writing, learners rely on their individual cognition to complete the writing task. In this process, the writing task make learners activate their existing cognition and let them use their acquired knowledge and writing skills to complete the writing task. However, due to the limitations of individual cognition, learners often encounter problems that can't be solved. In second draft writing, in the preparation stage, learners rely not only on their own existing cognition, but also on the external environment for cognitive resources. Learners revise their work with the cognitive resources distributed in the media, such as information in internet and dictionaries. In the third draft, learners were assisted by automatic feedback from the internet, peer feedback, and teacher feedback. That is to revise the essay with help of cognitive message distributed in media and the social community, and thus to complete the writing task. Educational communities based on online feedback, teacher feedback, and peer assessment activities have an important impact on individual cognition and act as norms. Communication among learners can facilitate individual cognitive activities. Learners view context, reflect, and form a construction transformation by assimilation and adaptation. In the process of writing, the learners were assisted by the cognition distributed in the media, society, and peers, and their writing was improved in terms of the overall conception of writing and the use of words and phrases beyond the limitations of their own personal cognition. The distributed cognition-based writing process had a significant effect on students' writing proficiency. There was a significant increase in TTR, correct spelling, average word length, total number of clauses, number of words, and the scores in the assessment of students' writing. We can see it in the table. In this study, the writing process based on the mobile writing platform consisted of three drafts, in which three stages of writing learning were presented. The first draft was mainly an activation phase, in which learners interpreted and understood the writing task, and the personal cognition is activated to finish writing task. Learners' reflections in this phase lead to the possibility of new knowledge connections. The second draft is embedded in the learner's knowledge internalization phase, in which the learner connects existing knowledge with online resources, selectively internalizes the cognition distributed in the media, and develops individual cognition. And the third draft represents the generative phase of learning to write. The third draft reflects the generative stage of writing learning, in which learners integrate their individual cognition with the distributed knowledge of the network and the knowledge of their peers and teachers, internalize new knowledge and strategies, and reconfigure their personal cognition. To sum up, the practice of mobile writing based on Jiku.com fully embodies the important role of distributed cognition in the process of learners' English writing learning. Human-computer, teacher-student, and the student-student interactions promotes the process of distributed cognitive construction and facilitates the internalization of linguistic knowledge through the mechanism of assimilation and adaptation. The mobile learning process is a process of promoting the internalization of language knowledge and updating individual cognitive structures. Therefore, mobile learning, driven by distributed cognition, is a more effective way of learning language in the informational environment. Then there are the references. That's my presentation. Thank you for your listening.